Rain drummed steadily against the taxi's windows as Yeonjin stared at the estate that loomed ahead, massive, isolated, and wrapped in ivy like nature was trying to reclaim it. "So this is the Huang mansion," he muttered, voice low. Taehyun, seated beside him, adjusted his glasses and scanned a file in his lap. The Hwangs were once Korea's most influential publishing family. Then their granddaughter disappeared 20 years ago, without a trace. Yeonjin looked over. "And now we've been hired to dig up the truth." "Not just hired," Taehyun replied. "Commissioned. By Chairman Hwang Won-sik himself. He's offering a reward that could fund our team's research for 5 years." Inside the house, the estate was eerily silent. A maid led them through long corridors lined with portraits, each face staring down at them with stern, painted eyes. "You're late," a low voice said. Chairman Hwang sat by the fire in a dark room filled with books. His face was worn, carved by age and regret. "You must be Yeonjin and Taehyun," he said, not bothering to shake hands. "Yes, sir," Yeonjin replied carefully. "We were told this was about your granddaughter, Hwang Mina?" The chairman's eyes clouded. "She vanished on her 18th birthday. No note, no sign, no body. And yet every year since then, on that exact day, I receive a flower. The same flower that was her favorite." Taehyun leaned in. A message. Or a mockery. His voice broke. "I want to know who's sending them. I want to know what happened. Even if the truth kills me." A cold trail later that night, Yeonjin and Taehyun settled into the guest rooms. Subin joined them, quiet, thoughtful, their tech analyst. "I tapped into the estate's old security system," Subin said. "Nothing helpful from the day Mina disappeared. But the last flower was delivered without being caught on camera." "Someone who knows the blind spots," Taehyun murmured. "Or someone already inside," Yeonjin added. Byamju, meanwhile, wandered back with an old yearbook in his hands. "Look at this," he said, flipping to a photo. "Hwang Mina's class. Everyone's name is listed except one. A girl with her face scratched out. Huene and Kai, who just entered with tea, leaned over. Creepy. Think she's connected?" Yeonjin stared at the image. "I think we just found our first ghost." The storm hadn't let up. Lightning flashed across the estate, briefly illuminating the cracked photo in Byamju's hands. "That girl," Yeonjin said slowly. "Why would someone go through the trouble of removing her name and face?" "Maybe she didn't exist in official records," Taehyun murmured. "Or maybe someone didn't want her remembered." Subin was already on his tablet, tapping away, scanning this yearbook. "I'll try to match her face structure with archival images." "She doesn't even look like the others," Huene and Kai said, frowning.
Morning light poured through the stained glass windows, fractured and cold. No one had slept well. Byamju's sighting had shaken everyone, especially since the footage showed no physical presence. "I know what I saw," Byamju said firmly. "She was real. She looked real." Taehyun scribbled on a whiteboard they'd set up in the study, linking clues: the yearbook photo, the tapes, the journal, and now, the appearance in the hall. "So either we're dealing with someone hiding in the estate," Taehyun reasoned, or she's never left," Huninkai whispered. Subin, while reviewing floor plans, noticed something odd. "There's a room on this blueprint that doesn't exist in the current layout," he said, "behind the south wall, between the piano room and the cellar." They searched the wall that afternoon, tapping, pressing, and finally, Yeonjin felt a soft give behind an old painting. A hidden latch. The wall creaked open, revealing a narrow passage. The air was stale. "Only one way to find out," Yeonjin muttered, flashlight in hand. Inside the hidden room, they found a rusted hospital bed, medical equipment, and dozens of sketches pinned to the walls, all the same face, Mina's. In some, her mouth was missing. In others, her eyes were hollow voids. "She was kept here," Huninkai whispered. "Or something was." Byamju picked up a drawing. On the back, a phrase was written over and over in jagged strokes. "She wears my name. She wears my face. I want it back." Taehyun turned to Yeonjin. "I don't think Mina ever left this room. I think someone else walked out pretending to be her." In the center of the room was a full-length mirror covered in red cloth. "No," Huninkai said. backing up, "Don't touch it," but Byung-ju pulled the cloth anyway. The mirror was cracked, spiderwebbed, yet, in it, their reflections were wrong. Yinjin's moved a half-second too late. Subin smiled when he didn't. Then a voice echoed from the glass, "You're getting too close," and a hand slammed against the other side from inside the mirror. Later, reviewing one of the tapes again, Subin enhanced the distorted background. Behind the girl's voice was faint typing. "It's a password," he said, from an old computer system. When he inputted into the estate's secure server, a new profile unlocked. Patient file, Y subject, mirror study participant. The wind howled through the estate that night like a warning. The team barely spoke during dinner, each of them digesting the file they had just read. "Yejin Huang," Taehyun said at last. "She wasn't crazy. She was swapped, and Mina isn't Mina." Byung-ju added, "She's the replacement." The group returned to the hidden room. This time, Yinjin stared into the mirror. "There's something buried inside it," he said, "like layers." Subin scanned the surface with a UV light. Symbols appeared, written faintly in circular patterns. Taehyun translated slowly. Latin. It says, "She who sees herself shall become the seen." That night, Subin found old estate records buried in a locked cabinet. There was a report of a second grave, unmarked, hidden near the cliffs filed decades ago by a former housekeeper. "It says she tried to bury evidence," Subin explained. "A body, but no one listened. They followed the coordinates the next day." As Huning Kai held the mirror, it shimmered, revealing Mina's room, years ago, a memory. In the reflection, they saw her young, pale, sobbing. "Why do you look like me?" A second girl, identical, answered. "Because you looked at me first." The image dissolved, the glass darkened.